Every month, a small egg is released from a girl's body. When a boy and girl become intimate, millions of sperm are released from the boy's body, all trying to find that one egg. But only one sperm is able to enter the egg. As soon as the sperm enters, the egg immediately seals itself so that no other sperm can get inside. Inside the egg, the DNA from the sperm and egg combine, and in that exact moment, fertilization occurs, the beginning of a baby. Then, the fertilized egg starts traveling through the fallopian tube toward the uterus. Over the next 7 days, the egg begins rapidly dividing into smaller cells. This process is called mitosis. After a few days, the egg becomes a structured group of cells called a blastocyst. Around day 5 or 6,
Several days of development, a blastocyst enters the uterus and begins searching for the perfect place to attach. But first, it must complete a critical transformation. Protected by a thin outer shell called the zona pellucida, the blastocyst starts to hatch. The shell weakens, cracks, and finally breaks open, allowing the blastocyst to emerge completely. Now free, it moves toward the uterine lining. The surface appears soft, elastic, and rich with nutrients. As the blastocyst makes first contact, specialized outer cells called trophoblasts become active. These cells begin attaching to the lining and slowly penetrate the tissue. What starts as a gentle connection quickly becomes a remarkable biological invasion. The blastocyst moves deeper into the endometrium as the surrounding tissue responds and gradually envelops it. Soon, maternal blood vessels begin developing around the implantation site, creating the foundation for future growth and nourishment. Within days, the blastocyst becomes securely embedded inside the uterine wall. This process is called implantation, and without it, pregnancy cannot continue, no matter how successful fertilization was. Early spotting can look the same, but the biology behind it is completely different. On one side, implantation begins when a fertilized blastocyst attaches to the uterine lining. Tiny blood vessels may be slightly disturbed, leading to very light and brief spotting. On the other side, a menstrual period starts when hormone levels drop. The uterine lining breaks down and begins to shed through strong rhythmic contractions. Implantation bleeding is usually minimal, short in duration, and linked to early pregnancy development. Menstrual bleeding is heavier, longer, and driven by the natural cycle reset of the uterus. In implantation, the body is preparing to support life. In menstruation, the body is resetting for a new cycle. Both can present with bleeding, but their causes are entirely different biological processes. Understanding this difference helps avoid one of the most common misconceptions in early reproductive health. Once the blastocyst successfully implants into the uterine lining, specialized cells begin expanding and reaching deep into the surrounding tissue. Tiny finger-like structures called chorionic villi start forming and branching in every direction. At the same time, maternal blood vessels move closer, creating a remarkable biological interface. Over time, these structures become more organized and complex, forming an intricate vascular network designed to support early development. This growing system eventually becomes the placenta, a temporary organ that provides oxygen, nutrients, and essential support throughout pregnancy. Every stage of placental formation follows an incredibly precise sequence. A small cellular structure transforms into one of the most important life support systems in human development. This medical animation explores how the placenta forms and why this hidden process is essential for a healthy pregnancy. Is completed and a tiny embryonic disc begins to form. Cells organize into 3 primary layers, creating the blueprint for every organ in the body. A body axis appears, followed by the first nervous system tissue. The neural tube closes, laying the foundation for the future brain and spinal cord. Then something remarkable happens. A simple heart tube forms and begins its first rhythmic beats. Primitive circulation starts, and the flat embryo folds into a 3-dimensional body. Tiny limb buds emerge. The head expands rapidly, and early eye and ear regions become visible. The upper limbs gain more definition, followed by increasing organization of the lower limbs and head contours. Soon, the embryo begins making small, spontaneous movements. Rapid growth transforms it into an early fetus, with increasingly recognizable proportions. Inside the womb, a healthy developing baby continues moving and growing, guided by one extraordinary process of biological transformation. What if a pregnancy started in the wrong place? Everything begins normally. A sperm fertilizes an egg inside the fallopian tube, creating a single living cell called a zygote. Deep inside, genetic material merges, and the new cell activates. Then the first cell division begins. One cell becomes 2, then 4, then 8. As the tiny embryo continues developing, it is gently carried through the fallopian tube toward the uterus. But in this rare condition, something goes wrong. Instead of reaching the uterus, the developing blastocyst leaves its normal pathway and enters the abdominal cavity. Now surrounded by organs instead of the uterine lining, the blastocyst drifts through the abdominal space, searching for a surface that can support it. Eventually, it makes contact with a vascular tissue surface. Its trophoblast cells spread outward, begin attaching, and slowly anchor the blastocyst deeper into the tissue. This is an extremely rare form of ectopic pregnancy, an implantation that begins outside the uterus.
Which can begin when an early pregnancy stops developing, and the uterus starts to release the pregnancy tissue. As miscarriage begins, the uterus may start contracting gently. These contractions help the body release pregnancy tissue. As the uterus contracts, the cervix may begin to open slightly. This allows the body to release pregnancy tissue during a miscarriage. During a miscarriage, the uterus contracts to move pregnancy tissue downward. The cervix may open so the tissue can pass out of the uterus. As the cervix opens, pregnancy tissue may pass out of the uterus. Cramping and bleeding can happen during this process. After most tissue passes, the uterus continues contracting to empty itself. Bleeding and cramping can continue, so medical follow-up is important. After a miscarriage, the uterus gradually empties and begins recovery. A follow-up visit may confirm that the uterus is clear and healing. Inside the mother's body, labor begins. As the uterus contracts like a powerful wave, gently pushing the baby downward. With every contraction, the uterus gently pushes the baby downward, moving the baby closer to the opening of the birth canal. As pressure builds, the cervix, which stayed closed for 9 months, slowly opens wide to make space. The baby's head turns and tilts, finding the best position for the journey through the birth canal. Inside, the birth canal stretches and expands in an incredible way that helps protect both mother and baby.
As the baby reaches the final part of the canal, its skull naturally molds, allowing it to fit through safely.
Each contraction guides the baby forward, step by step, until the final powerful push moves the baby through the birth canal. Inside the pelvic support area, soft tissues and muscles can become weak after childbirth or aging, reducing natural support and firmness. First, the weakened support area is carefully identified, so the repair can focus only on the stretched tissue that needs support. The first fine stitch is placed inside the support tissue, gently bringing the weakened layers closer together for repair. The next stitch strengthens the deeper support layer, helping the soft tissue become firmer and better aligned from inside. As the sutures are tightened, the weakened internal support tissue becomes firmer, smoother, and more stable from the inside. The repair line is carefully secured, helping the internal support tissue hold a stronger and more stable shape. After the sutures are secured, the repaired support tissue is checked and shaped to look smooth, firm, and properly aligned. The repaired tissue is carefully checked from inside, making sure the support layers are stable, smooth, and properly aligned.